'em up, lay it down just like Matt Amari. Wrestling RHAPup's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every weekend, it's feeling like a party. Will I Ric Flair, Showing out like Bianca Belair, Best podcast, fluctuate in the air, From the rings and we win it, don't care, No cap. Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt Amari. Wrestling RHAPup's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every weekend, it's feeling like a party.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Wrestling RHAPup podcast. I'm your host, Mari Forth, and with me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, Mr. Matt Scott. Matt, how are you?
I am good. Thankful to be here. I'm grateful. We're taking up those numbers, Mari. I have no clue how many episodes we've had so far, but I just feel like we've really been around and established, and so great starting my Saturday with you.
Yes, I agree. It's been a week.
Yes, it has been a week.
Right? It feels like I feel like I simultaneously haven't seen you in forever, and that we were like just here.
We basically were. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Our good old home, the Wrestling RHAPup. Always here doing our thing. But look, Mari, how's your week been?
My week's been good, filled with a lot of podcasting, I did some Twitch. Yeah, I did some Twitch streaming. So it was fun. Like, I'm really letting my content creator juices get flowing.
Ooh,
so it's
juices.
been very juicy. So
okay. And speaking of juicy, by the way, I'm so upset that I missed your RuPaul's Drag Race lip sync ratings. I did my studying, watched all the different lip syncs. Drag Race is basically like pro wrestling. Actually, I should just stop there. I was gonna say, but it's basically pro wrestling. So
exactly.
But I'm excited. If you're not following Mari on Twitch, what are you doing?
Please, yes, go follow me on Twitch. I had such a fun time. We did a bracket style ranking of RuPaul's Drag Race, the best lip syncs from just the regular US version season. So no all-stars, no international, and I had so much fun.
Can we talk about this for a split second? So
it's our show. We can do whatever we want.
What's the top? What were the top lip syncs? The final four.
The final four was Evie Oddly and Brooklyn Heights versus and Not So Sorry. It was Sasha Velour and Shea Coulee in So Emotional.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember, but I think Anitra and Marsha made it with Boss Bitch made it to 4. And then the final one before that was I can't remember because it was one of those one way lip syncs, where it was one person did extremely well. It was one of those where it was
I didn't like those. I took points off for some of those, but we'll talk some point because my ratings are definitely a little bit different. But this is the Wrestling RHAPup, not the RuPaul's Drag Race recap.
Shout out to them. Yeah.
Yes, there we go. But Mari, what are we even doing here?
We're talking, all things wrestling. This weekend wrestling was great. It's kind of like we are in the final stretch to WrestleMania, y'all. We're almost there. It's almost within our grasp, right? So close, right? But it's still feels so far. You know what I'm saying? So it's it's good. I'm getting some of the storylines. I love some of the storylines. Some of the storylines feel like they're literally just waiting for WrestleMania. So it's kind of that period where it's all right, but come on, let's get to the finish. Let's get to the finale. What do you think?
Look, the showcase of the Immortals, the grandest stage of them all. WrestleMania goes to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Mari, we first of all, we should be there. We would be there. But we had to buy our Beyonce tickets and all that.
Okay.
Stuff, so there's
all right.
a bank account and all. But I am ready. I just want to be there because there's so much anticipation. There are some matches that I do want more heat for going into it or more tension, but we're ready. Let's do it. Let's get it
exactly. So we're gonna try and talk about some of the stuff that we've already talked about, but we don't really want to retread the road we've already tread since basically some of the storylines didn't really move the needle too much, and we still have like 2 more podcasts before WrestleMania, so we're gonna take a little pit stop, I guess, to NXT, because NXT is also setting up for their stand and deliver in Hollywood, so you can stay tuned if you want to hear a little bit about NXT. But let's get into the news real quick, because we have some great guests and we want to get them up here as soon as possible. So, in some like kind of unfortunate news, Kofi Kingston just underwent surgery on his ankle. It was successful surgery, and he went to that doctor in Birmingham, Alabama, that does all of the WWE.
Andrews or something like that, maybe.
The one who's like really good.
Yeah.
So, from what we understand, he's recovering well and all of that. But I didn't realize he was injured. It's so sad. Xavier Woods was out on SmackDown by himself. He did a good job too. But it's like, the New Day cannot catch a break, man.
Yeah, and I also saw some story just to that point over on Fightful about, I guess maybe from an interview that that one of them did, that Vince McMahon, for years he thought about breaking them up and bring them apart, which, like, I'm so glad they're still together and still a thing, and they can continue to grow and evolve as they need to, but we just want them to be together because they're so happy together. Like, it's just pure black boy joy. Like, I'm into it, and we don't get that a lot of places, right? Or we haven't. But damn, yeah, wishing the best to Kofi, but he is hilarious on social media. Like, in the last few days, I was on Instagram and I saw, like, this might sound weird, but it was like a picture of his feet, basically, or his ankles, and he was like, "Oh, my ashy ankles, like I use that hotel lotion," and I'm like, "Yes, that hotel lotion, it's not lotion, it is not, it is fake, it's a lie. The hotel lotion does not have any moisture in it, it dries you out." And he posted the evidence of it. But no, he's in great spirits and hilarious on the socials if you're not already following Kofi Kingston.
Exactly. So speedy recovery to him. Hopefully speedy recovery too to Big E. I haven't heard anything about how he's healing. It's going on, like, it's been like a year and a half at least, right? Yeah.
I think about a year. I think it's only been I don't know. It was right before WrestleMania is kind of when.
Was it
February, I want to say.
I thought for some reason I thought it was in the fall. I thought it was in the fall.
You know what, Mari? I don't know anything anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah,
what is time?
But hopefully he's good. We got another announcement for the next entrance into the Hall of Fame. We got the Great Muta. The Great Muta is going into the Hall of Fame, Matt. My first thoughts were like, why wasn't he already there?
Right? He's one of those people, and there are a few of them. Like, even Rey Mysterio is one where you're like, wait, you're not already in the Hall of Fame?
Right.
Like, they're and the thing with the Great Muta, like, he is definitely in halls of fame, multiple, I'm sure, just like Rey. But yeah, great that he's finally going in. I think, unless I'm losing it, I'm pretty sure he was just on AEW, All Elite Wrestling, last year.
Oh, right. Yeah,
probably with the Forbidden Door pay-per-view.
Forbidden Door.
Yeah, so look, congratulations to him, long deserved recognition, and I think bringing a lot of like good prestige to the Hall of Fame too, in terms of like acknowledging history and the mark that he's made.
I mean, just an innovator when it comes to wrestling. So I, again, shocked that it took this long, but I guess they also are trying to do it where you got to kind of be retired, but then it feels like they also kind of backed off of that as well, So
yeah.
Very, very interesting. Shout out to him. So glad. We did get 2 questions about the Hall of Fame. And I think let's start off with this one.
Okay.
We were asked, what makes a Hall of Famer? I know there's a rumor that Stacy Keibler is being inducted. I love Stacy, but this feels like we need at least a man, a woman, a tag team, or a group. So
damn, Stacy, Stacy did not need to catch that stray. And shout out to Edmo for posting that one.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great question just to start there before getting to the Stacy Keibler of it all. Mari, what do you think makes a Hall of Famer?
I don't know if I've said this, but like, Oh, well, about the Hall of Famer. Okay, sorry. What makes the Hall of Famer? Honestly, the shit is made up, so it doesn't matter. To be quite honest, like honestly, the Hall of Fame is made up for importance for like a crazy old man that dictates if somebody gets into the Hall of Fame. Like to be quite honest, just like all of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but I that's why for me, I don't have a strict criteria. People get so up in arms about like this person doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Like I think if you're in good standing with WWE, you know, and you're kissing Mr. McMahon's ass,
which like literally,
literally,
I think maybe literally everyone who's kissed his ass is in the Hall of Fame.
In the Hall of Fame, yeah.
Yeah.
You become a Hall of Famer. So I'm not going to be mad at any selections that they make, to be quite honest. But for me personally, I like people who have longevity. I like people that like name recognition is normally like key to me. I also always come from a place that I understand that not everything is for me. Not every wrestler is somebody I connect with. So I don't care to fight about that. I just think that it would be nice not to have any very problematic people in the Hall of Fame. But if we did that again, about 2/3 of them would have to be.
I was gonna say it's too late.
Yeah, like, so honestly, I have no strict rubric or criteria, to be quite honest. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, I agree with you on so much of that. The only thing I maybe don't agree on is, yes, I would love the name recognition, but to your point, and you took the words right out of my mouth, like I never feel like the Hall of Fame is for us. Like again, it's Vince McMahon and whoever making those decisions. Who knows who's making those decisions exactly now. But anyway, it's them making those decisions, them coming together in a venue and honoring each other and crying together. And yes, you have like the fanboys and girls and fan days and everybody who are like in the crowds and they're crying, but it's like, this is not for us, it's for them. And so there are times, and I can't think of anyone specifically, but like times where there have been people who've been honored where it's more of like their contribution to the business as opposed to the external facing product that us as fans see. Like there's I think the Warrior Award, or, you know, definitely the Warrior Award, which honors people who aren't even like necessarily involved in WWE. But I know that there are some folks in the backstage who've been honored. Again, can't remember who, which I think speaks to the idea that it's not for us as much as for the people involved. But
I think that's a great point.
I don't care. I mean, I appreciate when I see these different names come up because it's nice when, like, for instance, in the case of Stacy Keibler, like, I was a big fan of Stacy Keibler growing up, and I remember actually meeting her here in New Jersey, where I am right now, and it was like wild because I didn't have like a camera at the time. This was in the age where it was like, oh, so nice meeting you. Got her autograph. I'm like, damn, didn't get a picture with Stacy Keibler after she was on Dancing with the Stars. Come on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Stacy Keibler. I thought she brought in a lot of people to the audience. She dated George Clooney and stuff, did Dancing with the Stars. You know, I liked her. She was a great manager to me.
And I think that that's the other thing. Like I personally feel like she's Hall of Fame worthy in the sense that it was a different time in in a lot of ways, but in the wrestling world, and in media in general, where Stacy was on the cover of like Maxim magazine and all these different magazines, and was that one of those crossover stars. And so I get how she wasn't the best in the ring, but she had her thing. She had those legs. She had the theme song by Kid Rock, and
I loved her entrance.
I did too.
I mean, long legs. I had legs for days, and unfortunately, every time you go back and look at
41
it,
inches.
The king, and
I don't know. See, I remember 41 inches.
Yeah, it's so good. So I like Stacy Keibler again, and I agree with Matt. It's more for them. I think I get more choked up when you see people's reactions to being in the Hall of Fame, like Rey Mysterio's reaction to being in the Hall of Fame.
Gosh.
I love that.
I cried so hard when who was it? Shad Gaspard entered the Hall of Fame.
Oh my god, same.
I feel like that was just last year, but I'm getting like emotional thinking.
It was 3 years ago.
Oh my god. It does not feel like it, but wow.
It was like right around the pandemic time.
Wow. That was a lot.
So I'm not about to sit here and argue down who they choose, to be quite honest, Edmo. So our second question was, other than Rey Mysterio and the Great Muta, who else would you induct into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2023? So I think we both agree on Stacy Keibler. Oh, they did. Oh, sorry. Edmo did say, does it feel like a woman, a tag team, a group, and a man?
Oh.
It's felt like that for years.
It does,
and I'm okay with that. I'm truly okay with that.
Give me 2 women.
And I've said it. I've said it.
Maybe 3.
I would much rather than be like, okay, we need
Maybe
a man,
5.
we need a woman, we need a tag team, we need a group, we need a manager. I'd much rather they do that than constantly just put the same type of people in. You know what I'm saying? And we get no women, or we get no legendary managers or anything like that. So I'm fine with that. I have no problem with that. Tag teams, groups that can go in. Any thoughts, Matt?
I literally don't know who's not even in there.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, who's not in the Hall of Fame?
I don't think we're gonna figure this out, Mari.
No,
because the thing is, like, we're not, again, like, back to the point of what we said, we're not that tapped in like that to the Hall of Fame. We're not paying attention. We're not scouting who's going to be next. So, but you know, I am interested in seeing who they choose. I feel like whoever's chosen is deserving. It's just like, you know, not everyone's going to be equally exciting.
I'm like trying to think of those acts, you know how, like, at least with football and like baseball Hall of Fame, it's normally like, okay, to be eligible for this Hall of Fame class, you need to have stopped wrestling 5 years prior or something like that.
Didn't know that, but now I know. It's
like something like that. So I'm trying to think of those acts around like the 2011, 2010 era, the era, of course, that I did not watch.
And while you do that, I am Googling to find who other people say should be in. So I'll let you know if I figure anything out.
So that's what I was thinking, because for me, it's like all of my like Attitude Era heroes are in. So I don't know, maybe we'll think about it and come back, because again, we have amazing guests and we're wasting valuable time when we can.
Let me just throw it there. You know, you could have like a Vicky Guerrero, you could have like I don't see any tag teams listed on this random website, but like Mari, like The Rock isn't in the Hall of Fame. A bunch of people aren't in the Hall.
He isn't?
Yet.
Right. They're waiting for right.
Yeah. So,
you know what? I would put him in this year at Hollywood.
And he wouldn't even show up.
He would be the headliner. He'd be the headliner.
He's not going to show up. He's busy. I don't know doing what, but
yeah, put The Rock in there right now. This year. That's
what though, Mari?
I stole it.
No, let me tell you this. Speaking of entrances, I feel like we need to get to our guests, but anything we need to do before that?
Nah.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah, we do. Sorry.
I don't know how stuff works. Honestly, you're in charge.
I know.
That's why I asked.
If you haven't already subscribed to our podcast, please go to robhasawebsite.com/wrestling feed to subscribe to the podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe. That's how other people find us, and we would really, truly love the help and support. You can also catch our beautiful faces here on the Rob Has a Podcast YouTube page. Go to Rob Has a Podcast YouTube. You can search Wrestling RHAPup, and we're right there every week. And we have fancy playlists. We have nice pictures, so you can also do that. Okay. All right, let's get into it.
Oh wait, are you ready? We're ready.
I'm ready.
Whew. Okay, I'm gonna do it. Making their way to the podcast, hailing from the Big Apple, the city of dreams, the capital of the world, the city so nice they named it twice. New York, you know what it is. From the Black and Snerdy Podcast, a weekly pop culture podcast, closing in on episode 100. Please welcome 2 Howard Bisons, including host, producer, abolitionist, journalist, Ode, stand-up comic, writer, humorist, Maurice, Ode and Maurice.
I wish I had like the I could stamp my feet so the pyrotechnics would be going up in the
Yes, we need some pyro to
We are
to
here.
Go off. Yes, we are here.
There's no more pyro in WWE anymore. No.
Well, we can get sparks or sparklers or a loud boom,
We can get
like
little,
Rhea Ripley has.
Little streamers.
little
Pom-poms.
like red solo cups come drop down on us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Most obnoxious entrance. I know the janitors hate them. Can you imagine every time like when you're looking at the set, okay, it's my time today, I'm on, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, these fucking guys. Do they reuse the cups? Because I feel like that's a
I hope
sustainability
so.
problem.
I really hope so, actually.
Because that's an environmental problem.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Or at least sell them on
Wow.
eBay.
Something,
Like,
someone will buy them. People in the stands will 100% buy those red solo cups.
Wow. And drink
Oh
out
my
of them.
gosh, yeah.
Nasty.
Yes, of course.
I am so excited. I need to tell the listeners how excited I
Please.
am. I have like my best friends on the podcast. Like Matt said, we are HU Bison. I've known these people for over a decade. I was like, oh wait, you guys have a podcast? We have a podcast. You guys cover weird nerdy shit? We cover weird nerdy shit. Let's go. Like, let's go. And it's been a little in the making. I'm so glad to have you guys on. We have to ask a few questions.
bring it on.
Tell us about your WWE or your wrestling experience. Like right now, are you guys like actually watching? Are you keeping up? Are you former fans? I'll start with Mo because I think I know a little bit about where he's coming from.
Okay, so it's a bit of a weird story. I'm a lifelong / back into it. And quite frankly, like I grew up on wrestling, the Attitude Era. That was my jam. That like The Rock and I guess Triple H, but like mostly Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, you know. But then like once I started doing stand-up comedy in New York, I didn't have a lot of time for like extracurriculars or hobbies or watching wrestling. And it stayed that way for a really long time until a little thing called the pandemic hit. And suddenly I had a lot of free time on my hands, and then I used that time to just get back into my love and passion for wrestling. I caught up on where the WWE product is currently. I've been watching it like week to week nonstop. Like I even was watching like NXT back when it was like the black and gold era.
Yeah.
Not so much the 2.0
2.0.
Right.
But yeah, I've definitely been keeping up to date, and I'm so excited. Thank you again for having me on your podcast. I'm so excited to be here.
Of course. Odie, how about you? Did this man drag you into this?
No, he did not drag me, but he's the reason definitely why I'm watching it now. So like growing up, me and my godbrother Chris and my sister, even like my mom, I feel like it was definitely a family affair. Like on Friday nights, we'd be watching WCW and was WWF when we were younger, right?
It was WWF.
And just like a lot of my, I would say like elementary, middle school years were spent watching that, and then thankfully safely doing the moves. I used to love to do the sleeper hold, and then I made up my own move where I would use my chin, and I would because I was the smallest one of the bunch, and so I was like, well, what part of my body can I use with force? And I would just take my chin and I'd be like, ah, and then I'd be like, oh, here's my power move. I've got it. But then I would say probably once like after middle school, I wasn't really watching it that much. Like I would know like certain the big names, like when The Rock came out, like of course we watched him come out, and then seeing him like get really large. But honestly, I would say probably more than a decade. I don't know the last time I really had watched a match until during the pandemic when he started watching it, and then we were together, and I'd be like, all right, well, sure, I'll watch it with you. And so at first I'm just like, this is ridiculous. But it's now I'm like, wait, what? So yesterday we were watching SmackDown, and I'm like watching the Irishman and the Scottish.
Oh yeah,
what's
Drew and
McIntyre and Sheamus.
And so some of them I really love their backstories, and I love Sheamus and
Drew McIntyre.
Thank you. I love them. I love their little story. You know, it's like the anti-colonialists are fighting against everyone. They're trying to get. They're trying to get these titles. I didn't realize that it wasn't Imperium fighting. It was Sheamus, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? Why are they fighting?
We're 6 minutes into this match before she took 2 and 2 together.
Because
wait, Sheamus is fighting Drew McIntyre? Why is this happening?
Gunther and his crew are always in all black. It's not like everybody has a very different outfit. So
that's right.
when I see him in all black, and I did not notice it was him until when he was pinned almost, and I saw his knees, and I was like, wait, those patches have a flag on them. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on? So I would say
That's
that
awesome.
I definitely appreciate, I have gotten a whole new appreciation for wrestling, because I feel like as a young girl, there wasn't, outside of China, we didn't really have a lot of like role models to like RIP. Like, you know, we didn't have that many role models. All the women that came up were just like overly sexualized. Not to say there's that much different now, but it was like oversexed and not really like given a chance to really wrestle and shine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I would say now I do appreciate that, even though I still have some problems with the way that the women wrestling is. In general, there's way more for me to be like to root for, because like even though I love to hate her, Rhea Ripley is like I feel like she's an amazing wrestler. Like I hate her, I never want her to win, but I also kind of in my back of my mind I'm like, yeah, I definitely like, I'm gonna choose you.
I love that.
I've grown to have a fondness for it that I wouldn't have had if it was not for Maurice.
For this guy.
That's so great. I love that. And it's so funny. I never thought, right, Mo, that in 2015, when we were in our Brooklyn apartment, when me and James were in our Brooklyn apartment, and we said, Mo, do you want to come over and watch WrestleMania 31 with us? That years later we'd be on this wrestling podcast. We were all together watching the biggest heist of the century happen.
Yes. Oh man, so much. And look, like again, I'm happy that y'all have this podcast, this platform. This is amazing, so that y'all can show y'all passion for wrestling. And I can be on here showing my passion for wrestling as well. Like, look at me cutting a sincere promo. What am I, baby?
Yeah. You just need someone to come through with a steel chair and take you out. But other than that, it's there.
Yes, I'm just so excited to have my brother from another mother here with us. But let's put the sentimental stuff aside. We're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna get into the highlights of the week in the wrestling. All right, we're back.
Wow, I really spent that break crying. Just the tears of the sentiment. The sentiment was in there.
Yeah, so gather yourselves together, pull it together.
Yeah.
So every week we bring you the highlights of the week in wrestling, and they can be found in a very handy show note playlist in our show notes or show descriptions. You can look in the YouTube or the podcast show notes, and you can watch along with us, or you can just listen to us talk about it. So we have to start with, I had to do it. As much as I wanted to be like, okay, it's another week, Judgment Day is still taking over. Maybe we could skip them this week. They were just up and down 2 whole shows, Raw and SmackDown. They made both shows their bitch. So I kind of had to put them in there. And we also all know my love for the Judgment Day. So I was trying to be impartial. I was trying to be like, you know, I'm not going to go in too much about how I love the Judgment Day, how I think they're one of the greatest factions doing it right now, and how I really appreciate their booking. But here we are. We have to go into it. And we have to talk about, we finally got it. We're getting Edge and Finn Balor at WrestleMania in a Hell in a Cell. What did we think about this? What did we think about this call here? I'm starting with Ode.
Okay, so I would say that I really enjoy when they pit the like newer wrestlers with the older wrestlers, because I think sometimes people might think like, oh, these new guys, like they're younger, they're stronger, they're going to be able to take them. But the way that the older, like seasoned wrestlers come out, no fear, and they're like, I will whoop your little kindergarten butt around this ring. I love that energy. And, you know, I would say that, what's his name?
Edge.
Finn Balor.
No.
Finn Balor.
Finn Balor.
Edge. It's Edge. Edge is the one that's today, right?
He's the
'Cause Finn
grizzled
Balor-
one.
No. Finn Balor is the Irish one.
Yes.
Yes.
Finn Balor
Uh-huh.
is Judgment Day.
Yeah, Judgment Day. I have my I feel like I have a love-hate relationship with him. I do not like the Judgment Day because they're meanies. And I do feel like I do tend to root for the babyface unless it's like the bloodline. But I think that that's going to be a good match. I feel like I haven't seen Edge go head to head against many people, but I do see, like, when I have watched him wrestle, I'm like, oh wow, this guy's really good. I think that's going to be a great matchup. I know Damien or Dominic or Rhea are going to mess the matchup somehow and
They're gonna
cause
try
him to win. If it does happen, if they don't get like disqualified or something, they're going to jump in. They're going to be shady per usual because they don't know how to fight fair.
Well, it's Hell in a Cell, and you know there's no such thing as a disqualification in a Hell in a Cell match.
That's right.
We do.
To that
match. But all bets are off until they get into the cell, right? Right.
Yeah.
Matt, I know you had to have liked this. I think Edge cut a great promo here, talking about how he didn't have much time. I know Edge is one of your favorites. You're an Edge head.
He is not one of my favorites anymore. He's just
What?
Look, here's my thing with Edge. He's just old, and it's like I loved him when he was
Heel
up
turn.
and coming. I still love his like energy, his acting. It's amazing. I love it opposite of Judgment Day. But this man is threatening retirement, and I don't rude. Just like either. It's like, something or get off the pot. It's like, do you want to retire or not, sir? And I don't like that. Like, please stay around, keep doing what you're doing, but don't threaten me. Like, this is your last go around. I want Edge to be around for a while, but I don't like the idea that we're leading up to him retiring at some point this year. So I'm a little sentimental and a little mixed in my emotions, as you could tell with all this, but I did enjoy this. And I think the part that I enjoyed the most was that Ed actually had friends who came out to help him.
Right.
And he had like Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae and Dexter Lumis, who I also really love. And I just love seeing them next to Edge fighting. The only thing I thought was weird with all of this was that there was more of like the Candice LeRae against Rhea Ripley, but we don't know what Candice is doing at WrestleMania, and we know that Rhea Ripley is facing Charlotte Flair. So I just kind of wish there was some way to work Charlotte in here to build toward that match, but I get it. There's a lot going on. You can't combine like all of the stories into one.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
I kind of like I get what you're saying there, Matt, but I kind of like that Rhea and the Judgment Day are kind of the foils for everybody. The point is, it's like they're the bad guy. They're just everybody's bad guys. It's like we all just don't like you.
They're the evil villain. They're the evil villains of W. Like they're by far, because the bloodline, like they're great. They're lovable. They're heels, but they're lovable. To Odie's point, but it's just like it's like the Judgment Day. You hate them. You want them to go down. They're threatening everybody. I feel like they are doing, Mari, what like Damage Control started to do when they joined or when they debuted on the main roster together in August last year. But they're taking over and they have their fingers in everybody's business.
And I just want to point out from the Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis versus Damian Priest and Dominic match, I mean, that match was, they are putting together these matches so well. I mean, Johnny and Dexter looked so good. Then Judgment Day just continue, right? Judgment Day continuously like getting the upper hand on people in a way that is so obnoxious. It's great. And then on top of that, Dominic is getting more reps in the ring again. Like he's getting in the ring more now. Like I remember when we were talking about how he's mostly on the outside, but now they're like, no, he's wrestling on every show now. He's getting better. He still has that kind of like awkward teenager feel to his wrestling style. but he is really good at selling, and I think that's his strong suit, and it works so well for his character.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my theory. So we know how Dominic and his father, they're having this beef. You know, like Rhea Ripley's brainwashed him, and that's why he's going against the family. So this is my theory. We're going to have this keep playing out for some time, right? Then Rhea Ripley is going to do something backhanded against Dominic, right? And this is why. Because Dominic and his father are going to somehow get their Sami and Kevin Owens moment. There's going to be a reconciliation. She's going to be pissed off. And then she's going to kick him out of Judgment Day. And then he's going to have this redemption arc where he and his father, they love each other again. And then next thing you know, they're going to be going against the Judgment Day.
You know what? I didn't I didn't know where that was going. I was kind of worried for a second. I was like, Rhea and Rey Mysterio end up to get like. I'm glad that was not.
No, I wouldn't put it past WWE to make something like that happen.
And they have in the past. So. Oof.
No, that's not bad. I just hope it doesn't happen anytime soon because I am enjoying the Judgment Day so much.
We need to build it up some more.
Yeah, I love heel Dom so much. Like he's like one of my favorite heels right now in all of wrestling. He's just a smug, snot-nosed kid coming out here being like, I've been to jail.
I'm Eddie.
Like with his little bandana on and everything. Like, mommy. Like it's amazing work that he's doing, and he's come so far in such a relatively small amount of time.
But I also think that Rey Mysterio's role in this is also I really appreciate because I just love how he's just like, you're my son. I love you. I know I haven't been there in the past, but I want to make things up. Like when he was telling him how he wanted him to be at his Hall of Fame induction, I was like, you know what? This is touching my heart. This is the story I want to see. Like it's engaging me. It's keep captivating me. I want to see more of it. And I still have the hopes that they are going to reunite and get back together because who doesn't love a reconciliation story?
You're by yourself.
Yes.
I
know. I was about to say blood. Between
blood happen. I want to see Dom rip that mask off his face and put it on his own face. And just like I'm Rey Mysterio now.
Tear the family apart. Let's go.
And we might as well stay here because like it's very interesting that Rey is still, we've been talking about it for weeks now. Rey is still like, I refuse to fight you. If you were anybody else, I would fight you, but I'm not gonna fight you. Like there is no way we have to get them at WrestleMania. Like this is the peak time to get them one-on-one at WrestleMania. So again, what will Dominic and the Judgment Day have to do to get Rey Mysterio to fight him? And that is where I cannot wait. I'm like, they're gonna have to do something diabolical.
Waterboard him.
My theory, like at this point, like the only thing they'd have to do, like just a quick theory, steal his mask. Take his mask right off of his face, parade it around.
He has so many.
But take it off of his face. Like
take his house keys.
Yeah,
then he can't get the mask.
And set fire to his like hall of masks inside of his house. You know, just like now only. Oh my goodness, I like this theory now. Like he has to destroy all of the masks so that Rey only has one mask left, and that's what they fight for at WrestleMania.
Oh,
I like that.
The last living mask of Rey Mysterio. Mask on a pole match.
Mask on a pole match.
Other than all of the replica masks that are out there, like I'll believe it. I'm with it. But
these are the originals, you know.
I know. It's like I want to know. It's like we can't really work the family angle anymore. I think like a full home invasion kidnapping is like that might be a little bit too much. Like, and we don't really want to see Dominic like torture his sister and mother.
I mean,
I was thinking,
speak for yourself.
Are his mom and his sister like involved in this? Because maybe if he did something like maybe not him, but I could see like if Rhea Ripley was to like go after his mom, and then that would be the reason, because Rey Mysterio may not fight Rhea, but he's definitely like, that's your woman, that's your mommy. So we're getting paid back in blood. Okay, so now that would be a diabolical plan that I feel like I would enjoy seeing in that story.
That has to be it. Like they have to go that direction.
If they do it, just pay us for giving them the idea.
Yeah,
and we want the ducats. We want the money.
They steal all the time. They're like, we steal from people all the time.
They steal from us. Yeah, no, and it's like, look, I also just feel like I don't know about anyone else, but I've been so annoyed by Rey Mysterio this whole damn time. Like, just fight your son.
Yeah.
What?
Beat his ass.
Yeah, like, where's your belt? Where's the switch? Like, get what you need to get, but beat him. Like, come on. It's okay. He's an adult, and he assaulted you. Take care of him.
I mean, he's a grown. You're talking about two grown men. Like, I don't care if he's your son. He's been literally calling you a deadbeat dad every single week for like the last like several months. You know, like y'all had a NASCAR fight at one point.
I forgot about that. Yeah, like on the track.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they did.
It is very indicative of like most parent-child relationships. I mean, children are little trolls, okay? They're gonna try your patience, they're gonna go after you, they're gonna hurt your feelings on purpose, and it's your job as the parent to say, I am not going to, like what he said to him, you're not worth it. I'm not gonna lower myself to your level because family is more important than all of this, and you're going against the family, and I'm not going to give you the satisfaction. Now, he might be a little bit scared of him because his son does tower over him.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking.
Beaten bigger men before, but I don't think that if he were to fight his son, I feel like he is afraid that he won't be able to go as hard because it's his son. Because I cannot imagine really going full out when I know, like, this is my family. Like, it's different when it's, like, the bloodline against Sami Zayn, because he was, like, this is, like, fake, like, a fake family where he just, like, popped up one day. It was like, oh, I'm your play cousin.
It's different when it's blood.
It's different.
Yeah.
And I'm the opposite with you. If I knew it was my family, I would go even harder. I would just be like, no, this has to be an all-out, like, brawl. I don't know about the death. I just mean to, like, how about that? To the brink. Because that's still my dad.
That's right, the brink. No, look, I'm with you. And here's the thing. It just, there's like a few things about this bothering me. Like, doesn't Rey want his son Dom to have that WrestleMania paycheck? Doesn't he want Dom to have that WrestleMania bonus? But also, like, whose career has Rey Mysterio ever ended? Like, no offense, but I don't think that having a match is gonna, like, Dom will be okay. Dom will be okay. Yeah. Like, or lose to your son. Like, that's also fine. Maybe Rey's afraid to be embarrassed, but it's just
I think it's partially that. Like, I feel like there's part of him where I think there's moments in a lot of like father-son situations where it's like you like, I feel like they all fight at some point in some way. Like, there's always gonna be a time where the son gets bucked and just swings on his father. At some age, and sometimes the father has to show him what it is. And that happens, and I feel like maybe they just need to work that energy out. But Rey Mysterio, to his credit, has showed a lot of restraint. Maybe the restraint is so he's like, how much y'all gonna pay me to fight my son? Because that also, maybe the bag just hasn't gotten there yet. Okay, so maybe that's just something they need to work out. But I think that if they do, I don't know if I want Rey Mysterio to win and be like, this is who you need to learn to be, or if I want Dominic to win to be like, I'm taking this legacy from you, not handing it down to me.
Dominic.
Yeah. I will also say with this, like, I just feel like Rey, there's just so much that he's fighting for, but like, Rey, just do it. Like, just give it to us. But I also understand where he's coming from, because like nobody wants to end up on Jerry Springer. You know what I'm saying? Like, or Maury, you know? So it's like that. I feel like that's Rey's energy. Like, please don't embarrass the family. Like, we need to come off as a family values. So I get it. It just doesn't fit that well with pro wrestling to me. But I love the story and I love Dom and like I love Rey being kind of pathetic, but
very true. We also got a question asking, on a scale from 1 to 10, how likely is it that Dom will come out to Eddie's theme at WrestleMania?
Oh
my God.
that
one
is so perfect. I
great.
hadn't even imagined that as like a possibility.
That would be
with,
so
with
good.
the lowrider car just open up and down.
Oh,
Just like
gosh.
right now. I inject it into
so
my veins
good.
immediately.
10. Let's do it. Like,
yeah, please.
I just want to hear Viva la Raza. And it's just like, oh my
What?
gosh.
Oh,
Could you imagine? That'd be great. Okay, so
seriously.
let's talk a little bit about Dom and Rhea versus Santos and Zelina Vega here. Talk about a good match as well. I mean, just putting in work. Zelina and Rhea have very, very good chemistry. I think they've wrestled each other plenty of times before. And again, here Dominic is getting better. He's definitely getting better. He's taking these moves a little bit better. I think him and Escobar had a little moment, I think, in their last match where Dom sells. I started to realize Dom sells, he oversells a lot of stuff. And his overselling is normally a lot of limb flailing. Yeah. And Santos wasn't used to it and got hit with a few limbs a few times, but it in their first few matches. But now it looks like they figured it out because they've been working each other so often now. And this match looked so great. It looked good, but you know, they took the win because they have to. They're building it up. And then after that, that's when we got the Dom and Rey Mysterio confrontation. Any thoughts about this match before we move on to Charlotte and Rhea? I mean, like, they were up and down this whole card on SmackDown. It was so good.
So I told you that I have been loving the updates to women's wrestling, but there's some parts of it that I feel like are still a bit that need work. Yes. And like some of it is that I feel like they don't allow the women to really shine as fighters most of the time. So in this match. I loved Zelina. I was just like, first of all, shout out to the small, fun size queens.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You don't have to be 5'5" to be a badass. She just was slinging Rhea around Matt. I was loving it. I was just like, I know my girl is about to kick her ass. Win the match, like that's it. Because honestly, I don't feel like we see Zelina fighting enough. We're always getting all these other boring ass women who come out there. Because first of all, Zelina has her bundles, her nails are done, she looks cute, everything face beat, like everything and all that, but she's still fighting. These other girls come out and they all look, oh, I'm so cute. I have my little thong on and it's my sparkly stockings, but then I don't feel like they're actually like going in and going hard, and she's doing it all like she's the total package, and I was just ready for her to win.
I mean, you know what it is, she's from New York.
That's how you know, like that's my girl. I want to see her, like, after this Rhea match. I'm like, she held her own so well, because everyone, I feel like they see how small she is and they think that like Rhea was just gonna like topple her and that was gonna be it. No, you were wrong.
She had to fight for it.
And I just want to see her in more everything, like more promos, more matches. I love their little like statue that they do when she's like, this is art. Okay, this is a story that I want to see.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Come on. Like,
and it's good because if Rhea does win this SmackDown Women's Championship, which I again think she should, this could be a really good feud between her and Zelina going forward. So, I mean, they showed up and showed out.
yeah.
So I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
I was here for Zelina and Rhea, but more so than Santos and to be honest.
Yeah, and I think that this match was definitely a highlight in terms of like just Zelina especially shining. And again, like there's this story between Charlotte and Rhea that's happening. But you know what? I do appreciate the fact that we could have these other stories building, and Zelina was amazing. I also just want to say too, like, you know, we've been getting Dom in the ring, we get Zelina in the ring, and then there's also times when we don't get them in the ring. And I just appreciate that for them, like that they're not wrestling hard every single week just because it's like not good for their bodies. So I don't know, like it's we're getting them at the right time, and WWE is doing that really well.
I completely agree. And again, after delivering some butt whoopings, let's be real, Charlotte manages to come out and gives her typical Charlotte promo. You know, her typical, I'm the best, you gotta be me. Every year I go into WrestleMania and I'm the star. I'm kind of surprised here that she didn't mention that every year she goes into WrestleMania, she's undefeated at WrestleMania. Like she's still technically undefeated one-on-one at WrestleMania.
But one-on-one.
One-on-one, yeah. Because I was about to say like
just one-on-one.
Yeah,
not the triple threat and the fatal four-way, the 1 year.
Does it really count that she's undefeated when you literally like never see her actually wrestle anyone throughout the year in like a real match? The only time we see her doing anything are these little courts, ringside rumbles. Maybe she flips somebody, someone puts her in a chair. It's like that's not showing me that you deserve this title. Like, I honestly, in this one, am rooting for Rhea just because I feel like Charlotte is boring and doesn't really do much work. And I have to, every time she comes on, I'm like, you know, I want to love the baby faces, all of them. Usually they're sweet and they have a good story, and she's always talking about her father.
Shut up about him.
Like, your father? That's your father? I didn't know.
That's your dad.
Look him up. Just look him up.
It's just at a point, I just feel like I need more from you to make me endeared to your story and for me to not want to root for Rhea to whoop you up. I don't see it for her. And, you know, that's it. I'm glad she took off those little heels and decided to run around a little bit and get a little dirty.
Yeah, looking like Kill Bill. In a little tracksuit.
But that's exactly it. And you know what? I did appreciate the Kill Bill look of it all. I just have to say, like, you know, she's going for it. She's doing what she
thinking
needs
more
to
like
do.
she stole that from like a Beyonce or Rihanna shoot, but
I would never put that on Beyonce or Rihanna.
Yeah, come on. Like,
they
let's
would make
do
that
that.
look
Let's
good.
want more.
First of all, they
them.
would make that look good.
Well, yeah,
definitely like a Sheen original or something like that.
It
Oh
is.
my gosh.
Yeah. But I mean, all of that aside, I thought that Rhea coming out again, showing that she can go toe to toe with Charlotte in a promo. There is like, I like Rhea's delivery. There is something that I feel like if we just tweaked it, like maybe, I don't know, maybe a little bit of punctuation at the end or something like that, it could be even more better because I love the menacing tone. I like the kind of like it's like a monotone deadpan delivery. Like it's supposed to be like menacing, but I feel like if we maybe put like just a little lilt at the end of it, it could really come off like this person is crazy. I don't want to mess with them, you know? But other than that, I think the promo was great when it dissolved into a brawl. Like Ode said, I was not surprised. Like James wasn't even watching. He was like, "Oh, how did the Charlotte Reyes segment go?" I was like, "It ended in a brawl, like we all thought." I was like, "I'm surprised the police didn't show up." You know, it's just it happens all the time on WrestleMania season. It happens. It was cute. I think they both did a good job. Again, Rhea did a really good job of looking just like you did not want to mess with her. And I have stopped myself from getting excited about these matches when it's paired with when it's Rhea versus Charlotte, because they have trained me to not get excited because Rhea kept losing. So I want to be totally excited, but until she pins Charlotte and she is the women's champion, I will not be able to actually like fully enjoy the storyline. It might be one of those things like if Rhea wins, I'll have to go back and really, really enjoy the storyline, because you can ask Matt, I was so gung-ho about their storyline feud in the summer, maybe I think want to say 2021 or something like that. And I thought it was so good, and all it needed was Rhea to win it in order to make it perfect, and she didn't. And I just thought it was a complete waste of time. So I am excited about their match at WrestleMania, but it begs the question. We did get another question that we didn't really put any highlights in, so that should tell you something. We got a question that said people are interested in our thoughts about Bianca versus Asuka, that build up. Am I the only one confused about the relationship and feud? Again, we are only talking. I only put the highlights for the SmackDown women's feud here. Bianca and Asuka's buildup has been horrendous. I said it last week. I don't like it. I don't like that they're both kind of faces. And this week on Raw, they've just continued working Carmella and Chelsea Green. What we know is going to happen on Raw, Asuka and Bianca are going to be on one team versus Chelsea and Carmella.
But how can they coexist?
Exactly.
How would you be able to coexist? Is that even possible?
Right.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Somebody's gonna turn on somebody. I'm just I don't like it. I don't like the build-up. Matt?
You know what? And I was really thinking about that story between Bianca and Asuka this morning, and because Mari, like we do talk about it, face versus face feuds just don't end up being great or exciting. But you know, what if there was a world where Bianca and Asuka were just like, I love to fight, and they just kind of like we saw Charlotte and Rhea every single time they saw each other, like that's what this is wrestling, let's go for it. Or if they like competed to see who could have the better match against some random opponent each week. Like there's just no story there. And I mean, we haven't seen Bianca. I could stop there, but I mean, we haven't seen like much of her at all. Right. It's disappointing, but it also makes me think that Bianca's going to keep the championship leading out of Mania, because they just haven't really done it justice in terms of building this up for Asuka. Like she could win and that's great, but then it's like you have Bianca's reign being on this really high level and then ending on what was that?
I often wonder if they just don't know how to cater a story towards Asuka, because this isn't the first time that it feels like they're kind of dropping the ball a little bit when it comes to storytelling with Asuka involved, you know, like after she won after she was gifted the Raw Women's Championship after Money in the Bank, like it just felt like it was just listless for a really long time. So it's definitely disappointing. I would say it's heatless. This is a match going into WrestleMania and it has no heat behind it, you know?
Yeah. And I actually thought when Charlotte and Rhea got the brawl spot, I was like, damn, it would have been nice for Asuka and Bianca to get that spot.
I was thinking that as well. Yeah. And what's the name of the championship where like they have the 30 people come in?
That's Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble, right? I was thinking that, but I wanted to make sure. Okay, like at Royal Rumble, I wish we would have seen Bianca and then like her actually fighting, and then she and Asuka could have gotten something in, and it would have added more like who's gonna get it. I just feel like we haven't really seen them enough.
Well, she was the champion at the time, so she wasn't in the Royal Rumble match.
Well, that makes sense. But I still something just because I feel like they keep promoting their match is coming up, but we don't get a lot of promos of them or even someone coming out and like hitting them with a chair or something. Like something, maybe because they're both baby faces, there's not going to be like, oh, I'm going to be antagonizing you. Because every time Bianca comes out to one of Asuka's matches, she's like, Asuka, I love you. You're great. Can't wait to see you at the match.
WrestleMania, exactly. I think if they still wanted to kind of do this storyline where it's like Chelsea Green and Carmella are in the way, and you don't want Bianca and Asuka to go like full like tilt, like one's a heel, one's a face, I would have preferred, like, again, what I've been told about the Dark Kana character and how Asuka is now like in that dark character. We assume that's what we were gonna get, but it doesn't seem like we're getting that. It seems like we're getting the makeup and the characteristics of the Dark Kana, but not the the exterior projection of Dark Kana, but not getting the actual characterization. I would have loved if maybe at one point when Asuka was coming to save Bianca from Carmella and Chelsea Green, that she also hit Bianca. Like it was kind of like a insane rage where she's just like hitting everybody, and she's spinning and she's kicking and knocks Bianca out. And then one day, the next week backstage, Bianca clocks her and like, I got my lick back. And like, let's try and coexist. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that. Like add another level of heat to it where it's like, okay, like we both clocked each other. Maybe we can be civil. Go into this match, beat them up. As soon as they're disposed of, now let's beat each other up. You know, something like that. That like one thing about Bianca's face character that I miss from her heel character back in the NXT days or the early Raw days is she used to beat the brakes off of bitches in the backstage area. Like, oh my God. Like she would just be like flailing on girls. And I miss that. I really wish we could have gotten something like that with her and Asuka. And I think it's just gonna go the predictable route of they'll probably fight after this match here, but it'll be a little bit too late. It's almost too late. It's a week before WrestleMania. It's too late to try and bring some heat here now. So we spent so much time on something that I didn't even include. It's cool. It's fine. It's cool. It's fine. Let's go ahead and mosey on over to the Bloodline storyline. Or should I say the KO and Sami storyline?
Or should you say the KO, Sami, and Cody storyline?
Exactly. I thought this storyline was just done so well this week. I mean, the only thing we got from Kevin Owens on Raw was Kevin Owens tried to go one-on-one with Solo Sikoa on Raw, but he got beat because the Usos come out. It was the setting of the stage of like, we're all trying to go this alone and it's not working, right? Mm-hmm. So it sets the stage for Cody coming out on SmackDown and then bringing out Kevin Owens, bringing out Sami Zayn, trying to entreat both of them to put their differences aside and work together. I mean, these just two segments on SmackDown had some of the most emotion I have seen in a storyline. That's why the storyline is so freaking good. So let's just talk about the Sami and KO of it all right now. Cody is trying to get them to come back together. KO is like we're not even, you keep saying we're not friends. We just need to take the bloodline down. We could be the ones to take the ones down. But Kevin Owens says, why would I want to fight along with you if you don't even consider me to be a friend? And I was just like, dang, he said it. It's like when you find, it's like in therapy, like they finally in couples therapy, they finally said the quiet part out loud. And it's just like he is saying he is hurt because Sami turned his back on him. And it makes so much sense because why would KO just accept him back after again, I keep thinking about couple stuff, but it's like Sami basically like left him, cheated on him, turned his back on him, and now he's begging to come back. KO's like, I don't want you to come back, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought this was so good. It culminates with Sami running out to the car. KO is leaving for the night, and Sami being like, no, we are friends, we're brothers. I think Sami didn't realize that's what he wanted to hear, because I do believe that Sami still feels like KO is his brother. What do we think about this, Odie?
I feel like, I mean, this whole storyline has been such an emotional roller coaster. I've been rooting for everyone in it. And I feel like it was like, you know, initially, I feel like when Sami was trying to get Kevin back on his side to work with him. I don't feel like when he said like we don't have to be friends that he meant that. It was just like, I know that you hate me right now.
Right.
So I don't want to push anything on you. In my heart, I would love for us to be not even back to where we were before, but better than we were. And so I'm just letting you know that I will take any scraps that you will give me.
Love more.
Exactly.
Yeah, that we can work together and then hopefully build on that. But I guess that like Kevin's side, he's like, I just want you to be honest. Tell me like what I mean to you, why you wanted to work together. I'm not going to just do this for this like shallow reason of breaking down the bloodline. Cause like, yeah, that's cool. But what you and I had was more important than all the rest of this BS. So I felt like they did such a great job building up to this story week after week. And this was finally the culmination of a story that I think that we have all been just waiting with bated breath to see the end result. And I personally, like, I knew when Kevin drove his Charger out that that I knew he was going to be back. I was like, when the match comes, I know the bloodline's going to come in, trying to do some dirty stuff, and then Kevin's going to come in and have his back.
As a quick note, when we were watching it, Ode referred to Kevin's car as a fuckboy car.
I mean, go to Atlanta and see how many
Okay, Atlanta, but does it change anything that if he's Canadian? Like,
no. I don't think so, but I see that Kevin's probably like a lovable fuckboy. You know, he has fuckboy antics.
Hey, he's a family man.
He's reformed.
right.
Reformed fuckboy, he needs the car.
Does it change anything that the car is probably rented?
It is definitely rented.
It's like, this is all he had, sir. But yes.
Wow.
Didn't get a Prius. I get a Mustang.
And then so later, Sammy is gonna confront Jey Uso, and oh my gosh, this right here, this was good. So Sammy coming out with all his righteous babyface anger, you know, and Jay just literally pouring his heart out, stuff that people have been kind of saying for weeks now, like we've been kind of thinking is the case on the internet for a while now. But Jay being like, I didn't like you at first, but everybody started liking you. I finally gave you a chance. I'm like, this was just therapy. Both of these sections were just therapy session in the middle of the ring. And Jay being like, I normally don't let people in. And then for you to turn your back on us, like I was like, oh my God. Like, this is what everybody who supports the bloodline has been saying. Like, and we talked about it a little bit a few weeks ago, but it's like, this is that storyline where you could pick either side and kind of justify, like, no, we're the good guys. They're the bad guys, you know?
Thank you. And that's like, that's something I love. That's one thing I love about it is like, you know, that the emotional depth is there because you could see like where KO's coming from. You could see where Sammy's coming from. You could see where the Usos are each coming from. I don't know if I can handle it. I feel like I'm watching, like, you know, insert soap opera here. Like, what is this? This is us,
right?
What's going on?
You know, I think that it's hard with the bloodline because, like, I feel like the bloodline were probably one of the first matches I saw, like, coming back, and I was like, who's that? And so watching them, their story and watching them progress, it's like, I do love them, but I do hear what Sammy's saying that I feel like, you know, Roman is not a great cousin, brother,
leader,
leader to the bloodline because he's always so mean to them. And like, I know that some people think tough love is necessary and you got to be hard, but I'm like, these people are pouring their blood, sweat, and tears out, their whole entire bodies and souls every week, and for you to then tell them after Sammy hit him with the chair, and he told Jay's brother, what's his name,
Jimmy,
and he told him, well, maybe you should watch Canada from home. How dare you? How dare you? So I understand. Like, I feel like Sammy is not a betrayer. He is someone who is seeing that there is mistreatment and he did not like it, and he tried to step up to save the group. But unfortunately, when you're dealing with these deep family ties
and you're brainwashed
and you're
into
brainwashed into
believing
it,
the whole family motto of the bloodline is what's important. Like Roman has to be on the top so that Jake and Solo can eat and provide for their families and whatnot. Like it's all dramatic.
Yeah,
and I love
it's
it.
great. It's stories. This whole Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and the Bloodlines, both of them separately, great, but together, it's like, give them an Oscar.
Yeah, honestly.
Is there a wrestling Oscar or wrestling?
We need one.
The Emmys. Yeah, WWE is constantly like doing for your consideration for the Emmys. Like, this is what they need to push to get it. And I think they are, because I don't know if you guys saw this on WWE YouTube page. It just dropped like last night, and I was like, I don't know if I want to really send this to them. They put the whole entire Bloodline story together from 2020 to now. It is 2 hours. It is a 2 hour. It is a movie.
I want to watch it.
I want to watch
it.
I want to watch it.
They're doing this. They put this together. They're gonna submit that for the Emmys, and they should get it.
Absolutely.
I just feel like I love watching these men be emotional and pour their heart out and be like, having all these feelings. Like, that's what I want to see more of. Men having full feelings and crying when they're upset and feeling sad or betrayed or whatever the case may be. Because, like, yes, they're also gonna like powerbomb each other.
Yeah, I was about to say.
First off, you're gonna get 2 years. Because I don't want to be beating you up, Sammy Uso. I loved you. You are my brother. But now you gotta get that smoke.
Now you're gonna get a splash.
Yeah, exactly. It's just so good. And I almost was like, when I'm like curating the list and stuff, and I'm like watching SmackDown, I'm like, is there anything like, has this progressed? It's the same. Is it the same stuff that we talked about last week? But honestly, it wasn't. This was full on story progression on both sides. Me and Matt kept asking ourselves at the beginning of the road to WrestleMania, is like, how are we gonna get here? Because we were told that it looked like it's gonna be Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Bloodline, and we kept saying, but how do we get here with Sami still being so close to Jey Uso, with Jey Uso seeming to look like he's doubting Roman a little bit? Like, how are we gonna get to that? And this week's clips completely answer that question. It did it in a logical and emotional way, and now I am freaking hyped for so many matches at WrestleMania, like the Bloodline, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn match, and the Roman and Cody match, because they even found a way to seamlessly like put Cody like in there without him like sucking the air out of the room and out of the story. Like, it's masterful. It's truly masterful. I mean, just spot on.
So beautiful. It's so beautiful. And it's like, wow, like the fact that you have an arena of people, I'm sure, I would imagine mostly men, but an arena of people who are chanting hug it out.
Hug it out. Yep.
I'm getting emotional just thinking about all of this. Like, because you're right, like wrestling used to be one thing, and yes, you had moments. Like, there was the famous moment where Shawn Michaels loses his smile and he's crying in the middle of the ring, and you have those emotional moments. But damn it, the level of emotional complexity, I just need them to establish that these characters go to therapy, because it shows. I see it. I'm feeling, or they need it, but either way, I love this. And
they had the family therapy with what's his name?
Paul Heyman?
His sons who beat him up. That just came from NXT.
That's AEW.
Oh, sorry.
That's
Whoa, not the ass boys.
The ass boys.
Okay. Let's move on to a storyline that is nowhere near fleshed out. We just got a random announcement that there's going to be a women's fatal 4-way tag match at WrestleMania, and that there's going to be a series of qualifying matches. Like, I'm so frustrated with the women's tag belts, and like I'm confused as well.
Mhm.
Like, is Becky and Lita not facing Damage Control at WrestleMania? Did I
No, they
miss
are.
something here?
They
Is this
are.
just
Becky, Lita, and Trish are facing Bailey, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai of Damage Control at WrestleMania, but this is separate.
Is this a
This is not for
contenders
the
match?
champion. I guess so. They called it something funny that I missed. But it's a match that's, I think, a contenders match.
Okay, it's a contenders match.
Yeah.
Do we think that it's gonna be night one Damage Control versus in the triples match, and then night 2 it's gonna be the
Double
tag
duty.
team match?
I don't know, like, because and that's why we're confused, because they literally just
No.
they didn't like make a big deal out of it. They kind of put a small graphic. They're like, here's this match. I don't know what the hell is going on. How are they going to find 4 women's teams? The 2 teams that they had wrestle on SmackDown had never been together, and they, at least they admitted, they're like, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez walked into the building not knowing they were going to team together, and now they're on the WrestleMania card. Like, it's just like, huh? And it's just so annoying, because this is literally what Sasha and Naomi have been talking about, and how those belts aren't worth shit because they don't do nothing with them except for try and build a story a week out from WrestleMania. Like,
this is what I'm talking about with the problematic parts of women's wrestling. They're not putting the same amount, like the way that we have a bloodline story. Exactly. Why don't we have that sort of time and attention into building up the women's division and making sure that each match, Rhea Ripley can't fight in each match. She can't.
Even though we want her to.
There are a lot of really great women wrestlers, but then there's also some of these stories, like, I just feel bored. Like, I feel bored about this Damage Control versus
Lita and them.
Because I'm bored. Every time I watch them go up against each other, I am bored. I don't feel in tights. I don't feel like you're doing like anything to make us want to watch it, except for just wanting to follow a show so that we see who wins. But I just feel like they're doing them a disservice, because all of them are training really hard and they deserve more creativity behind their storyline.
Yeah,
I
and like
agree.
Like, I completely agree too, and it's like there's so much they could do here. One, it's confusing that they're having qualifying matches to lead to a 4-way tag team match for the, because as Mari and I've talked about, like, there just aren't those established women's tag teams. But the other thing is, like, just imagine if they just chose 4 women's tag teams, because I don't think the qualifiers do anything for them. That would be okay. Like, I would love a little video package of each team and like why they're together, and like the fact that they weren't thrown together. Like, even Tegan Knox and Emma, and just seeing like, why are you together in this match?
Why are you
or
together?
Like, I think I don't know if Tegan Knox and Emma teamed together before. I know that Tegan Knox teamed with Shotzi before.
Exactly.
They didn't put them back together even. So there's just no thought and energy behind it, and it's annoying because like, so many people are women's wrestling fans, but it's also clear that people in charge of creative are not women's wrestling fans at all. Barely.
Yeah.
Oof.
So we get Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, who have absolutely no chemistry together, even though Liv Morgan is trying. Like, Liv Morgan has tried, and poor Liv should not be in a tag team match. She should be being like set up to be pushed up the card against, especially if we have 2 new champions after WrestleMania, or at least 1 new champion. She should be prepping to be a contender, methinks, but I don't know. But her and Raquel, I'm just like, ugh. We know, everybody knows my feelings about Raquel. Ugh. And then, Emma and Tegan, I don't understand that, except for aren't they all from the same, like, are they all from like the New Zealand, Australia
I don't know
area?
where Tegan's from.
Or she Welsh. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And it just felt like it came out of nowhere. And so now I'm trying to think, if we have all these qualifying matches and we need to get down to 4 teams, if there's a match per spot, then we got to find 8 women's teams out of nowhere. Like, so let's try and think this through, right? Let's say, oh, she's Welsh. Yeah, Tegan Knox is Welsh. So
good for her.
Yeah, good for her. I'm thinking, okay, maybe is this a way that they're gonna like get Ronda and Shayna on the card at some point? Maybe they're gonna be in this.
They will. They have to be.
Yeah, who's Natalya gonna match with? She's always gonna match with somebody.
Shotzi. Well, wait, no, because it might be Shotzi and Natalya versus Ronda and Shayna, which I feel like they just did a few weeks ago. But
I think they did, and so maybe then that means maybe Natalya and Shotzi don't even make it onto the card. Do they have like one of those like it's 3 matches, and then the last match for the 4th spot is from the 3 losers? That they could do something like that. You know how they do that? Like, if it.
Yeah, I'm just judging because, like, I'm looking at it. No, you're right, Mari, about the like, who are the teams? We look over at Raw, though. There's Piper Niven. She could be in a tag team with somebody.
With who?
I don't know. Nikki Cross could be in a tag team with Candice LeRae, maybe. That makes sense, kind of. And then there's probably Chelsea Green and the other one.
Chelsea Green and Carmella.
And
the other one. I love that.
Yeah.
Look, and then someone else. They could face another team. I don't even know who else.
And I don't know. Y'all might hate me for this again, but WWE did randomly upload Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax WrestleMania full match on their Matt's eyes are so
together.
A Franken team with them two?
No, not them two. I'm thinking Nia, if Nia comes back.
Tamina?
Oh dear.
No. Nia and Piper. Nia and Piper.
Oh no.
Mari, that would be a thrown together team.
But it might be cool as shit. I'm sorry. I love big women wrestlers.
I do too.
Same.
I do too.
But like,
I know Nia is so problematic. I know. I'm sorry, guys. She is.
Just bring her in there. It's cool.
But could you imagine Nia and Piper Niven tagging together?
No.
How much fun would that be?
Because it'd be so random.
Yeah. I can't imagine that either. Why not Piper and Tamina? There's nobody.
Okay. No.
That's true. It could be. It doesn't matter. No matter who they throw in there, it's gonna be random as hell.
It could be good. Mari, where did your sense of hope and joy go? We could have everything we want. All that needs to happen is that the right teams need to end up in there. It could be your girl Nia Jax, your problematic fave, and your girl Piper Niven, your unproblematic fave, together. Or we could throw in Tamina. Nobody Mina. We love her. We need her. There's so much we could have, Mari. Have some hope and faith.
I don't know. I don't, because I don't believe. I don't have hope and faith because they just announced this out of the blue. So
who are Hope and Faith? Is that another tag team?
Yeah, let's get them in here because we need help. This division needs help. But I guess we'll keep our eyes on that because they literally just announced it last night, so we don't know where that's going.
Yeah.
I guess we already talked about, I think Ode did a pretty good job talking about Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, who they were having their fight last night to decide who was going to be the number 1 contender for Gunther's title at WrestleMania. But they both basically almost got counted out. Gunther and Imperium interfered. And so it ended up being, Adam Pearce said it's a triple threat. I actually like how they did this because, normally they do it where the heel champion is dumb and it's like they try and hit they get a disqualification. They're like, yeah, look, neither of y'all win, so I guess I don't have to face anybody, and it becomes a triple threat. But here, Gunther was actually kind of like, nah, I need one of y'all to win. Come on, what's going on? And then they interfered, and so it made more sense. I was like, at least that's semi-logical here. But I'm honestly just glad it's a triple threat, Ma.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit different. Like, I'm not exactly happy with the way this was executed, but I am happy with the end result. Right. Like, I just thought it was I thought it was a little bit weird because like Imperium is their whole thing is like the mat is sacred, you know, that's their whole thing. So like it puzzled me that he would spend his entire time like trying to get them amped and get them up so that they could fight just for the rest of Imperium to come in and disqualify him. Like that felt that rang a little bit untrue as far as the motivation within Gunther. But I guess you could logically say like, hey, maybe he didn't technically order them to do that, so maybe they'll get scolded later on or something like that. But like I said, I like where we ended up. Like I am this triple threat match is going to be a banger after banger after banger. Ellipses, just copy it. It's gonna be amazing, and I'm all here for it.
Yeah,
I think Gunther's going to lose the title to one of them.
Really?
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Because I think that Sheamus and Drew are going to tag team him and get him out because they know that they're stronger together because they are besties, and then they're going to fight each other as besties. And then I don't know if they're going to be besties afterwards, but at least if it's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend, they're going to band together, get him out, so that at least one of them.
Well, it's not. I don't think it's a triple threat eliminator type thing. It's literally whoever is the first person to pin anybody in the match is the winner of that match. But what if
they pin him together? Then it's a double pin.
Intercontinental champions,
and then the guy's gonna come out on the big screen. He's like, "You guys pinned Gunther," but
that could happen.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be. It's just going to be simpler. It's just going to be simple. Sheamus needs this title to fulfill his Grand Slam championship belt. So Sheamus is just going to pin Drew, and he's going to win the belt. And that way, after WrestleMania, Gunther can be like, "I was never pinned," and he can continue the feud with Sheamus. I think it's just really textbook there. It makes sense. It's going to be a good match. Drew and Sheamus are besties. You know, Drew will happily stare at the lights for Sheamus because Drew, I think the last two WrestleManias, did Drew win the last two? I know he won at least the one before last year. Yeah. And Sheamus, everybody loves Sheamus, so he just needs this last feather in his cap. So I think Sheamus is walking out of WrestleMania the Intercontinental Champion, and having it be a triple threat is the easiest way to do it.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what about Drew? What about his needs? That's why I wonder.
Well,
what about Drew's needs?
Drew, they can do either or, because they could, if Sheamus has the belt, then they can either continue the Drew and Sheamus like friendly rivalry, and that will free up Gunther to go up against the new champion if it is Cody Rhodes, and we get a Cody Rhodes versus a foreign heel, as you would say.
That would be a great match.
Yeah, because he's what's his tagline about being American? The Great American.
He's the American Nightmare.
The American Nightmare against Gunther, or one of the other ones.
Imperium General.
Yes.
They can do it.
Yeah, I think that I like that. That slides Gunther into the main event category.
Exactly.
He's already been built up to be this monster heel. Like that would be a good program. I could see that maybe being like
Gunther.
Oh, what do you mean you don't want it to be Gunther against Cody Rhodes?
No, I'd rather one of the other two. I don't want Gunther to have any more chances of winning any more things.
Then that means he's doing it right. Then
he's doing a good job being a heel.
I don't like him, so I don't want to win.
I always want. You're not supposed to.
Okay, he does it very well.
Yes,
he leans in very much into his aesthetic.
He's proficient,
and I love him for that. And I think it can go either way. I think it can go either way with the next steps. So I think that would be the best route to go. And I was trying to think, because Gunther is the longest reigning. They said he's the longest reigning modern day Intercontinental Champion, which is like, it's kind of mind boggling to me, because he got it last June, so it hasn't even been a full year. So I didn't even realize that it Intercontinental Championship, I guess, were just changing hands so quickly, but yeah, he's built up perfectly now, so he doesn't really need the championship right now. All right, let's just take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk about NXT. Okay, so NXT has been kind of interesting, right? Like, I actually watched this week. This
Oh,
week,
wow.
I know, right? And it was on a whim. I was just like, it's Tuesday. Don't got anything to do. Let's watch some NXT. It was actually, I was like, oh, it was very fortuitous because I thought this was a pretty good episode because NXT, just like the main roster, they are gearing up for their WrestleMania style premium live event called Stand and Deliver. And we really did get some really interesting storylines and stuff for that. I want to start with something though, like because we talked about Roxanne Perez and the whole Mako Satomura match. Was it last week?
Yeah.
What is time? Um,
I think
so we get an announcement from Shawn Michaels that Roxanne Perez is like out, and so there's a ladder match has been announced for the NXT Women's Championship. We have no idea how many women are going to qualify for this. I just like to say that you're welcome, Shawn Michaels, for letting me give you that idea. I said I love a good ladder match, and he listened. No, I'm just playing, but like. I love this. I love that it's going to be a ladder match for the NXT Women's Championship. We talked about after the match when Roxanne was like, carried off and all that and the big theatrics of it all and stuff like that, that I literally said the only reason you would do all of this, like bring her out on a board, have Booker T by her side, load her, see that we're loading her into an ambulance as if you're writing her off. And that's exactly what they did. So now I haven't heard anything about her actually being injured. Matt, have you heard anything about her?
She's not.
Exactly. That's what I thought.
Know.
Exactly. So I think it's interesting that they're going this route, and it makes me even more think about how a few months ago we talked about the only reason they put the championship on her this early was because they pulled it off of Mandy Rose after her nudes were passed around or whatever you want to say. And so they pulled the trigger on Roxanne. They gave her this run. Her run's been pretty good, but they weren't anticipating it. And we weren't sure when it was originally supposed to start. But to me, this kind of reeks of we were forced into a position. Now we're trying to reassess where we're going. And the NXT women's division for me has not been that great, but I appreciate a ladder match. If you're gonna give me a ladder match, I'm not gonna say no to it, And after we got that announcement, I didn't realize we got 2 matches. I only sent y'all one, but we got Zoe Stark defeats Sol Ruca, and then we got like a Gigi Dolan, Kiana James match, whatever. Gigi Dolan wins. The reason why I wanted to put Zoe Stark and Sol Ruca on here is because I don't keep up with NXT. I keep up with certain people on NXT. And Sol Ruca and Jakara Jackson are 2 women on NXT that every time, like they are constantly lighting up social media. Like anytime they do anything, it's all over my timeline and then I have to go watch it. And I saw a lot of people mad at this result. So Mo, what did you think? What do you think about this announcement and this match here, Zoe Stark and Sol Ruca?
I'll start with the match. I am biased as hell because I love Zoe Stark. Yes. I feel like I'm the only one, and I have to be the person like with the flag just says she's awesome, she's amazing, and you know what? I hope that she's in the ladder match, and I hope that she's next up. Okay, well, yes, she is, and I hope she's next up. Like, I want her to be the champion. I know I'm in the minority when it comes to this, but like, I want to see her. I want to see the entire NXT machine get behind her. Like, she's athletic, she has a great look. She's done. Okay, all right, with the sighing, but
somebody else has a problematic.
Well, I was gonna say my problem. I get it. She is athletic. There's something unique about her. She has a lot of energy. But Mari, as Survivor fans, something I realized, she gives me like a Sarah Lucina vibe, you
Oh
know,
Jesus,
like
yeah.
a cop kind of vibe, which I'm just like,
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't want to put that on her. It's not her, but that's just like who she reminds me of, which was like where the discomfort comes from. So, but she
Mhm.
is athletic. She's fast, tall, strong, other things. I don't know what else is redeeming about her.
I just have never gotten her, like, I've never felt like she's very charismatic to me.
Mhm.
And that's fair.
Yeah.
And I'll
Mhm.
give you that. Like her character work could definitely use a little bit of tweaking. But I'm still backing her as far as like my I'm putting all like my hopes and my dreams and my aspirations onto her. But yeah, as far as this announcement, I'm much like you. Like I feel like you can't go wrong with the ladder match. Like ladder matches are always just like fire in my eyes. Like even as far as like the few NXT ladder matches that I've seen have been like fun to watch. They're fun watches, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very true. Odie, any thoughts about this at all?
I would say, well, I don't really watch NXT so much.
Right. Yeah, that's neither. Yeah.
I feel like, you know, I understand that it's the developmental stage.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say the women's NXT comparatively to when they get to the big time, I feel like they're much more like physical and really kind of going for it, which is what I noticed in this match. And I thought that was fun. And I would like to see, now I'm not sure which one is Sol Ruka. She's the one that was in the orange and the pink.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's
Yeah, Sol
Ruka.
Ruka.
And then where's the other one?
Zoe Stark was
Stark.
the one in like
The brown,
the magenta-ish brown type
okay
stuff, yeah.
I mean, I
Similar.
can see why. I feel like both of them are like super powerful, super strong, and like I would like to see both of them wrestle again. I have no clue of their stories, but
I can
feel
tell
like
you.
I feel like just the match itself was more interesting than what I've
Yeah.
seen in the last few women's matches
On the main roster.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So Sol Ruka, they have been like steadily pushing her over the past few weeks on NXT Level Up and like on NXT. They gave her a whole vignette about the backstory about her parents. Like I think she's from California. Her dad is black, her mom is white. She's like that surfer chick style. Like, and at first I was like, I don't understand it. Like literally she would do the bare minimum and she would be on my timeline. And I was like, okay, all right. And then I started like really paying attention to her and watching the vignettes, watching her clips. I was like, oh my gosh, she's so athletic. Oh well, Matt, what happened? What did I get
she's
wrong?
athletic. No, I'm just like, look, I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about Zoe Stark still, and I'm just like,
okay.
And I really upset you with that take.
You really did.
That hot take. That hot take.
I've been on the fence about her, but I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, and Sol Ruka is very young, 23. So she's up and coming. And if you listen to the clip, the crowd is behind her.
Yeah.
So
well,
and when she gets pinned by Zoe,
yeah,
dead silence. Like
the crowd is behind her, but I have to just say they definitely piped in crowd noise when she did that moonsault from the top rope and landed on her feet, because it makes no sense. And yes, I guess it's impressive. It is impressive that you could do a flip to the ground and land on your feet, but the crowd was not cheering. If you look at them, it's like, yeah. It's like, who is that?
It's very easy to spot when they pipe in cheers for
It
the performance center. I don't know why they do that.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about, but not to take away from her. Like I think they are behind her, and people are really impressed. She is. I don't know when she debuted in wrestling in Sol Ruka, but like she is definitely bringing it and very, very athletic and talented.
Exactly. So, that was my biggest gripe, and it's what I saw. People were like, "Why would they stunt her push in order to try and get Zoe Stark over?" Yes, Mo.
I didn't have anything.
It looked like he did. Okay.
No.
Mari does that to me too when I'm giving a funny look.
Eagerly listening. That's my listening face has excitement written all over.
Thank you. Yes.
That's so funny. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, that's it. Again, and like I said, I didn't post it, but Gigi Dolan beat Kiana James. So I think it's like one half of the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. I don't even know, but it seems like Gigi Dolan is being pushed after her split with JC Jane. But yeah, and so I'm like, okay, I'll watch the ladder match. I don't know if I'll be invested in any of the people. We don't know how many people are going to be in it. They have 2 people so far, Gigi and Zoe Stark, and I don't know who they could put in there that could really like make me like really root for somebody, but I'll watch it. You know, I'll probably just watch it to be like, okay, this is cute.
I have a question.
Just
real quick.
Yeah.
Anyone, would you be okay with them pulling these women from NXT to bring them to the main roster for a tag team?
Totally.
I would.
Who though?
If they had established tag teams down there, because when they actually set up who the tag team challengers were for Stand and Deliver and who the champions are, and I was like, who are these people? Like, I did not even know who the women champions were or who their counterparts were. So I was like, I'm at a loss. I wouldn't mind it, but the only women's tag team that I was really invested in was Toxic Attraction, and now they're
they got split up.
Yeah, exactly. Now they're split up. So I could not tell you who the other people are. So Kaden, I don't even know their names. Katana Chance, and they done changed their names too. Kaden Carter is now Katana Chance.
Oh damn! Like see, I don't know their names either. Wait, what's the other one?
No. Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Sorry. So they were the champions, but they got beat a month ago by Fallon Henley and Kiana James. And I couldn't even tell you what Fallon Henley and Kiana James's storyline is right now. It's something like, I don't think they trust each other. And then Ivy,
they're like opposites attract was like what I got from it.
Exactly. And Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley were just broken up too. So it's just like, why are we breaking up all of these? That was the Diamond Mine girls. It's like, why are we breaking up all of these women tag teams? So to answer your question, Odie, if they could keep a team together, I would take any of them, to be quite honest. But it could be. Now that we mention it, it could be Kaden and Katana that could take that spot, since they are out of all of these names that I'm like staring at right now, they're the only ones that have been a team for like over a year.
So basically, we narrowed down all of the options, and they're the one left.
Exactly. So maybe them.
Good for them. I hope they're happy wherever they are.
Next up, let's talk about the match that everybody in NXT has been waiting for, apparently. Bron Breakker versus Carmelo Hayes for the NXT Championship match. I am very excited for this. I did include a random clip of Tony D'Angelo because I love him too. I kind of don't understand how he's now in the tag title division instead of up here with Carmelo and Braun, but it's fine. It's fine. We're okay. Like what Mo?
I have been saying for the longest time, like, Tony D'Angelo needs to be the next champion.
I'm telling you, he's so good.
Listen. As far as his character is concerned, like it has maybe some issues, but it's a throwback. I love it. Like he goes full tilt into it. He leans hard into it. Why not have him in the main event scene? You know, why not have him all over it? I was actually a little upset that he was just like, "Yeah, we're gonna get some gold," and then he was like, "Oh, you're going after Carmelo Hayes and Bron Breakker?" No, I want to go after the tag teams. And this is obviously my impressions need a little bit of work. Just a little bit.
Just a little though.
Tweaking.
Just a little. Not a lot.
But yeah, I was upset that he was just like, yeah, we're gonna go after the tag teams. Gabagool.
Yeah, you know what? And you know what? I think like Tony D'Angelo, like Mari. That gimmick right when NXT 2.0 started was so great, and there's like them kidnapping people. I think they kidnapped a producer and threatened his family, and then like he couldn't tell anybody. So there was like a lot there, and I just feel like it's interesting because like he could do anything he wants, like he's the boss. But like other than Sasha Banks, I'm sorry, former Sasha Banks, but like he's the mob boss basically. So why isn't he breaking kneecaps and getting the championship already? Like to me, it's a little bit weaker without him in this picture because it's like, wait, why are you not in the championship picture right now? But I'm all about that gimmick as someone from, who grew up in Jersey and like grew up around people who definitely broke some kneecaps, including some who are who I can't talk about because of NDAs and because they're behind bars and I'm scared. Like it's a great gimmick, but I feel like I am just happy that this match between Bron Breakker and Carmelo Hayes is happening because they've really built this, and they do talk about it and reference it in the promo, but like they've really built this since the start of NXT 2.0 around September 2021 or so, and it needs to happen. It needs to happen.
Exactly. And it's just about time. I know on Twitter and in wrestling circles that I go in, it's kind of like people are kind of like, oh, Carmelo should win, but they're also like, but I would love for him to be on the main roster. You know what I'm saying? Like he's ready for the main roster. For me, I think I want him to win. I know I want him to win because I want him to get a run with the belt before he goes up to the main roster, because as we've seen before, we don't know what can happen once he gets up there. So I do want him to get some sort of flowers before he's fed to the proverbial wolves up there,
100%.
Yeah. And Bron, and it's sad when the crowd is chanting "Save us, Melo." Like Bron Breakker has had this title for entirely too long, even the faithful feel like. And it is truly time. And I just want to point out, I really hate that Bron Breakker shirt says, "I got the dog in me."
I saw it. First of all, when I saw him, I was like, is he trying to be a Q? What's going on? Where are his gold boots? What's going on?
Was so angry. They steal everything.
What is happening? Like I feel like the purple and gold.
I don't want to talk about it.
To go up. They need to pull up. I'm surprised they haven't done it already. The next thing you know, it's gonna be George the Funkadelics song.
I hated every second of that. I was so mad when I saw that. I'm like, who authorized this? Ugh.
But also like, just don't. Like, we don't like what, sir. Why are you here? Why are you here?
In his promo to Carmelo, he had the nerve to be like, "Oh yeah, I know you're him, but are you something more than your catchphrases and your gimmick?" I'm like, look at your shirt, sir. You probably don't even know what that means or where that came from. At least Carmelo knows what he's talking about when he says he is him, and we get what he means. Like, I am just
sad.
I'm mad. But anyways,
mad.
Let's wrap up the NXT section by talking about Johnny Gargano. I thought this was done so well. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but the first clip that I sent you was from over a year ago, where Johnny Gargano was giving his, like, it was at the point where we didn't know where Johnny's contract was. He had just had a baby. He was kind of like talking about how NXT is his home, but we weren't knowing if he was going to retire, if he was going to move up to the main roster, if he was going to go to AEW. We didn't know what he was doing. But Grayson Waller came out, accost him, put him through a table, and we don't see Johnny Gargano on NXT again. We still didn't know what was going on. We didn't know if he was let go. We didn't know if his contract ran out. Johnny Gargano ended up on the main roster last year, welcomed him back. It was amazing. I loved it. I was so happy to see him back in the E. And for him to then come out last week, like on the behest of like Shawn Michaels, basically, because Shawn Michaels is like one of his mentors, one of the people he looks up to, and take on Grayson Waller in this like full circle moment was just astounding to me. I loved it. Grayson Waller is doing a great job as an annoying heel. I love that his the Grayson Waller effect, whatever. I love like we've seen millions of these like in-ring daytime show things, you know, that wrestlers do, but I loved his setup with the foliage, with the tight shot on him at all time. It was really like invoking like Impulsive. It was trying to be like that annoying Logan Paul, that annoying YouTuber style show, and him trying to confront Shawn Michaels on it, but Gargano coming out, and then all of it culminating into Johnny Walker. Wow.
Johnny Gargano.
Johnny Gargano facing, I know, exactly. Facing Grayson Waller, like coming out to do a promo talking about home and you can't mess up home. Johnny is wearing almost the exact same like jacket that he wore from the original promo the year plus ago, and it's just great subtle storytelling that I love, and I love Johnny Gargano, and I love that he's like getting this final hurrah in NXT to kind of close that door, which I'm pretty sure he's gonna put on over Grayson Waller, which is just gonna do amazing things for Grayson Waller. We got a at home ambush too. We know those are those things we shouldn't like, but we do. You know,
you know what? And let me just say, I had so many feelings about that. Like,
please.
And I want to understand that, like, Candice, yes, you are holding the baby, right? But like, could you just like put the baby in the crib and like do something? Candice LeRae is the women's wrestler who fights men, who fought men. Like, she could kick his ass. Like, why not? Why are we not getting that? But she was holding the baby and watching. So like you're traumatizing your kid at the same time as not doing anything. And it's just like, call somebody. If nothing, just call somebody. Stop it, Grayson. Stop.
I felt like she was holding the baby like in Lion King. Like,
she's like, watch this. This is what happens.
Watch your father get a trash can like hit in the head. Like,
I
was just happy that we finally got the premiere of baby wrestling. Like, like I've been waiting for it, and finally, and the youngest baby like to ever be on WWE. I think I'm gonna assume that's a record.
We'll see.
I feel like, I don't know.
I don't know either, but yeah, it was so good. I truly did like this. I love anything Johnny Gargano does. I'm on record being a huge fan of his, and I think it was smart. Like, you know, initially a lot of people were like, oh my god, why are they making Johnny go back down to NXT? But you could tell this is something he wants to do. You know, you can tell this is a storyline he wants to close that chapter on. You can tell as a veteran of the business, this is what he wants to do. He wants to help put over an up and coming another wrestler. Like, I love this. I truly do. And it's just masterful, because I didn't even realize it was a full circle moment until I was doing more research, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot him and Grayson Waller did have beef before he left. Yeah, I really liked it. Odie, any thoughts?
I thought that I really loved the storytelling they did. I thought it was like, this is very creative, and it makes it so that when the show comes out, or when the match comes out, that we're really going to be rooting for someone. Of course, I want Johnny Gargano to win, and be like, whatever, eat my dust and stay back here in NXT while I go to the main roster, and then maybe one day you'll be able to come over there and challenge me again. But until you step your game up, you're just gonna be here, and I feel like that would be you can't come to someone's house and let them beat you up
in front of your
baby.
wife and child.
No, the baby. Oh my god, that baby was not even crying.
Because the baby was so confused.
That was a
great baby.
I'm like, there's no way she would have. If this was better storytelling, in my opinion, would have been her seeing her husband get beat up, putting the baby down in the crib, like you said, and going out there, bringing out one of her dining room chairs, and like, like you're not gonna come into my yard and beat up my husband, and I'm just gonna be sitting there and watching. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, even like you don't have to put the baby inside. Like that baby might be old enough to walk by this point. So just like.
That's so funny.
Yeah, the baby, its little high chair. It can pick it up, and
or honestly, like throw the baby at Grayson Waller for like,
like
a tandem wrestling move.
We had a perfect moment to use a baby as a weapon.
Oh God, no!
We missed it, and that one never.
And that was a big baby.
And that baby would have hurt.
Could you imagine that big baby sliding in your face? They missed the opportune moment. They could have just, even if they didn't use the actual baby, they would use like a doll. They've done more ridiculous things.
Like do some quick editing.
And again, for all of our listeners who are fans of Survivor Australia, we've said it once and we said it again. Grayson Waller, formerly Maddie Wahlberg. Yep. On season 4 of Survivor Australia is getting a great push as a annoying heel, and this is the time if you want to see what he's up to. You can of course look at all of the highlights in our show notes playlist or playlist show note, whatever. You can look at it and keep up with it now. Any final thoughts on any and everything we talked about here? As we go to the close, Mo, I'll start with you. Any final hot wrestling takes you want to get out there before we go?
First off, I don't know if anybody remembers the Bruce Springsteen song from the movie The Wrestler, where he was just like, if you ever seen a three-legged dog walking, then you've seen me. If you've ever seen a grown man weeping at the sight of two men hugging it out, then you've seen me. Like that was me last night. I wept a little bit just saying, like, finally they hugged. Yes, this is what I want.
Yep. I'm so with you.
That brought me all the tears in the feels. Now all I need to see is finally Jay step up and just say, I'm done with this shit, Roman. Like, and I don't know when it's gonna happen. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but I need that to happen like in the next, I'll give it a year.
I think a year. I agree. Definitely. Ode, how about you? Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, I think that everyone said everything. Like he said, I was so moved by the Kevin Owens, Sami Uso, or Sami Zayn. Sorry,
he has the duct tape over the Uso
storyline. I thought that was great. I think that I'm super excited for WrestleMania. I hope that we get some better promos with Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair because I've been kind of bored. But I'm all here for it. I feel like each time things get better and better, and they're gonna do what they have to do to make the fans happy.
I completely agree. Matt, how about you?
My only thought: I'm here for baby wrestling. Like, why can't a baby wrestle? In fact, it should be easier and safer for all involved. So I'm just saying,
infants in a
let's reconsider. Let's reconsider.
And let them go at it. Yes, thank you guys. There's no shoot segment today. Again, anything that we talked about can be found in our highlights playlist. We are gonna kick it to Mo and Ode to promote whatever you got to promote. Where can the people find you? Where can they subscribe? Ode.
Oh, well, you can find us on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on TikTok. You can stream the Black and Snerdy podcast on Anchor, Apple, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts. And then you can find me, of course, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, across the socials. And yeah.
What's your handles?
Yeah.
What's your handle? Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, you can find us at all of these places.
Sorry.
We need you to say where.
This is the part that I'm always really bad at.
Yeah.
You can find us on the Instagram at the Black and Snerdy Podcast. You can find us at Twitter at Black and Snerdy, and on TikTok we're the Black and Snerdy Podcast, and on Facebook we are the Black and Snerdy Podcast as well.
Yeah.
You can find me on Instagram at that's ODTHATS OD.E, and then on Twitter I'm that's OD_E, because you can't use periods on Twitter.
Right. You can find me at all of the places that you've just mentioned as far as the podcast is concerned. Individually, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Licorice is Legit. That's LICORISH is legit, because legitimately that's my last name.
Yep.
Not an entertainer name, not at all. That's some real shit.
Yes, it is. And of course, we'll put all of those handles in
Yes.
our show notes if you want to find them. Matt, what have you been up to? Where can the people find you?
Well, I've been up to the Wrestling RHAPup, of course, but other than the Wrestling RHAPup, this week I had the honor and privilege of talking about some very, very dark, twisted stuff with the one and only Mari Forth and Sarah Carradine over on the Crime Scene podcast. So I'm sure you'll hear from Mari about that. Look at Mari doing most of my plugs here.
Yep.
And then other than that, you could always listen to interviews with people in the on the Rob Has a Podcast Network, in the Rob Has a Podcast Network community, on my podcast Pod Friends, including Mari's interview from, it wasn't that long ago, a year. It's not,
A year
not
so.
that bad. A year. Yeah. Still relevant. Still a lot of good things you could learn. It's pretty evergreen stuff, but I'd encourage people to listen, not only to hear from Mari and me, of course, on every episode, but like to hear from all the other guests other than Mari who've been phenomenal. You can check that out at robhaswebsite.com/podfriendsfeed, and you can follow me on social media at MattScottGW for more. But oh man, Mari, where can the people find you? You've been so polite asking us, but you never give yourself the flowers.
Well, like you said, you can follow me every week. Me and Sarah Carradine are bringing True Crime Tuesdays to RHAP with the Crime Scene podcast. Like Matt said, we had him on last week for Who Killed Robert Wong? Who murdered it?
Who
murdered?
One of the killed or murdered?
Killed
He's
or murdered?
Dead.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Yes. But
spoiler. Sorry.
Spoiler. Yeah. I think Who Killed Robert Wong? It was a very interesting 2-part docuseries on Peacock that we watched and we reviewed on Crime Scene. So definitely go check it out. We had a very interesting conversation, very speculative, because it is technically an unsolved case.
Yes.
So you can go to robhasawebsite.com/crime feed to subscribe to Crime Scene there. Crime Scene is also on Twitter at Crime Scene RHAP. That's at Crime SEEN RHAP on Twitter. And we're at crime.scene on TikTok. So go check us out there. Our 50th episode is around the corner and we'll be dropping this week coming up. So it was we had a great discussion about true crime in the media and how we, consume it. So definitely go subscribe and leave us some ratings and reviews. Yeah. I will also be on the Big Brother Canada roundtable this week with Taryn and Melissa and the gang talking about Big Brother Canada 11. We'll be speculating there as well, since we don't have any live feeds to talk about. It has been a process this season, but I'll be there to talk with them. So you can definitely go to robhasawebsite.com. Subscribe to all of the Big Brother content and you can find me there. Like I said at the beginning, I've started my own Twitch stream. So please go follow me. at twitch.tv/Mari Talks Too Much. That's 2 like the number 2. I'm trying to get those followers up. You have to follow me because I'm still experimenting on what I'll be doing. So you want to get notified every time I go live. Make sure you go follow. And then of course you can follow me on Twitter at Mari Talks Too Much on Twitter. 2 like the number 2. Anything I'll do, I'll post there. And I almost forgot because your girl is booked and busy. Me and Chappelle did do our Snowfall podcast that just dropped earlier this morning, I believe. So if you want to hear me and Chappelle talk about the 6th and final season, episode 5 of Snowfall, which was a very interesting one, you can go check that out on postshowrecaps.com. And you can subscribe to the Connect on Post Show Recaps if you want to get all of your Black TV shows there. Yeah. So, all right. That's it for all of my plugs.
We love black stuff.
Yes, we do. Remember to follow the Wrestling RHAPup on Twitter at Wrestling RHAPup as well. Thank you to Mo.
Thank
Ode,
you.
we really, really appreciate it. And for me and Matt Scott, we just want to let you guys know, and everybody out there, remember, wrestling is for everybody, but not all wrestling is for everyone. Bye.
Ready to dance.
Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling RHAPup's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party. Moolah Ric Flair, showing out like Bianca Belair, Best podcast, flush it in the air, From the rings and we win it, don't care, No cap. Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling RHAPup's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party.